I attempted to install the E-gear lines onto this actuator, and the threads were very, very bad. So I went to try to bolt this down, and it kept popping up, and you can see actually that the threads are messed up. So now I'm going to attempt to repair the threads with this fancy helicoil set that I got from overseas, and I'm going to show you guys how this works. I cannot believe how simple and easy that install was. I'm not used to having good luck like this. Usually I have bad luck and I break 3 other things just trying to fix one thing. But check this out, you guys. All the lines are back on that E-gear actuator, and to my knowledge, it is ready to go. So the scary part is I have actually never driven this car, and so I'm not really sure if the transaxle or the E-gear system is even any good. But there's only one way to find out, and that is to get it running and actually try driving it. But before I get back to working on the car, I wanted to show you guys something. So it is December 20th now. We are 5 days away from Christmas, and I got myself an early Christmas present. So it was on sale, so I had to order 2 of them, and actually one is for my dad. But check this out, you guys. We are gonna have all the light, and I'm gonna put that to use in this video, and hopefully it makes a difference. No more dark videos. Also, Milwaukee, if you want to sponsor me, be sure to hit me up because we would greatly appreciate it. But no, and just thinking about it though, I just said that it's December 20th, and we are supposed to take the car to go get wired up in Dallas sometime in January. And that doesn't leave us very much time, and I got a lot of work to do, and I work 7 days a week, so that doesn't sound very promising. I'm gonna get back to it. I'm gonna grab that box over there, and we are gonna keep on plugging away. Know we are running 2 Wu-Tang Warriors out the back of this thing, and in order to keep them alive, they need to stay lubricated. And I'm going to show you guys how I'm going to go about that. So we have these ports at the top of the turbos, and that is where your turbo feed lines go. So for demonstration purposes, I already built my lines just so it's a lot easier to explain. But you're going to want to go off of your oil source, and let me click on the Milwaukee light so we can see, because we have all the light now. And so I went ahead and got mine off of the top of the filter. The oil pan already had a port there, and I used a -6 feed line. And you're probably wondering, well, usually turbos only take a -4 feed. Well, that is because I'm going to be running the -6 feed line all the way up, and then I am going to tee it off to supply these 2 -4 feeds. It's a lot cleaner way of doing things, and that way you don't have 2 -4 feed lines that you have to run all the way back there and try to hide and keep clean. that's the way I went about it. Let me put it together so you guys can see how it looks in the end. You guys remember when I said you can cut the AN lines with a grinder? I wasn't lying, you can, but don't do it. If you're gonna do it because you're in a crunch, go ahead and make sure you clean out the lines very well so that way you don't run into any issues with the debris clogging up the system. But if you got the 50 bucks, just spend them, because you guys saw how easy that was with these pliers to make cuts. I mean, I should have did this a lot sooner, and I don't know why. Probably because I'm a cheap ass sometimes, and I'm really guilty of it. But and if you guys ever get into a situation like me with that flex fuel sensor, think about it. I would have had to pull that flex fuel sensor off of the car, and then I would have had to clean all the lines up after I finished cutting, and it would have just took me so much longer. This way I was able to just get in there, get the job done with those pliers, and it was just so much easier. I don't know why I didn't do it before, but buy the pliers, spend the 50 bucks. It's ridiculous. And you guys might notice that I have the hood open on the car and I got the wheel off. So I may have tried to work behind your guys' back, but unfortunately it didn't work out in my favor. So whenever I bought this car, the brakes never worked on it, and nobody knew why, unfortunately. So I did my little I took a few steps and I went and I tried to bleed the brake system, and unfortunately that didn't work out. We weren't getting any pressure to the bleeder valve, so I think that we have a bad master cylinder. And luckily though, that is a Audi part number, so I was able to get it from my local auto parts store. It'll be here Thursday, and it was only $230 surprisingly. So that's a plus. I think the one from Lamborghini's maybe double that price if I'm not mistaken, and who knows how long it would take it to get here. But either way, it'll be here Thursday. But in the meantime, we can get started with this intercooler kit that we got. So I got the reservoir here that I'm going to be using, along with this Bosch pump and a bunch of hose that I won't be using, I don't think. And all that does is it is going to be what circulates the water to the air-to-water intercooler. So the reason I have the wheel off is really because of that. So I'm going to be using this oil cooler as a heat exchanger. So I'm going to get it pulled out, get it all cleaned up, figure out what fittings I need, so that way I can adapt it over to that system. And I think it's going to work out perfectly because, I mean, while you're moving, all the air goes through this vent right here, hits that heat exchanger, and I think it's going to work out very well. So let's hop back into it so that way we can get this intercooler system knocked out and we can check it off of our list. We finally got that beast off of our back, and I honestly couldn't be happier with the way that it came out. It's a bit of a confusing system, but I went ahead and drew it out so it would make sense to me and so I can show you guys how it works. So check this out. This is my demonstration of the Lamborghini. Pretty close, right? And so this is the front of the car, and this is that little tank that we mounted. So off of that tank, you have a feed line that's going to run to a pump. And off of that pump, you're going to run over to your heat exchanger. And then it's going to go through your heat exchanger, cool down the water that's in it. And then it's going to cycle the water through our intercooler, which is going to cool the intake air temperature down. And then it's just going to work its way back to the tank. And it just kind of repeats and repeats and repeats. And that's just what keeps the intake air temperatures low on the car. So we'll start off with the front of the car. So check this out. So here's our fancy little tank and bracket that I had made, and it's looking mighty fine. And then we work our way over through the pump over to our heat exchanger. So this is the factory oil cooler to the car, and I went ahead and cleaned it out very well off camera to save you guys the boredom of watching me clean this thing, because it took many hours. But so we got everything there in the factory location, and then we work our way over to our Tix Performance intercooler. And so this right here is the feed line off of it, and it works its way over to that heat exchanger. And then we got this line over here. Once it circulates through, this is going to be the return line, and it's going to work its way all the way back to the front of the car to that little tank. I don't know why I overcomplicated it, but it just was not making sense to me at all how it works, because I was so afraid of that pump pressurizing that tank, and I don't know, maybe I was just overthinking it. But it's finally done, and that is a big old check mark off of the list. Like you guys saw in the thumbnail of that video, we had a special guest come down. He drove 5 hours to just check out the Lamborghini. And funny enough, I actually went to school with him, and he is doing super awesome with his social media career. He's got over 700,000 followers, and you're just going to have to head over to his channel and check out the video he made of the twin turbo LS swap Lamborghini. It's epic. So on my way home from running errands, I went and I stopped by the auto parts store to pick up that brake master cylinder. And let me tell you guys, this thing is a perfect match for a fraction of the cost. I paid $248 out the door, and it is an identical match to what we have on the car. You really can't see it from here, but I promise you, it is an identical match. And for those of you guys that maybe possibly have a car like this is the part number, so you can actually get this from your local auto parts store. You don't have to get it from Lamborghini and pay those Lamborghini prices. But I'm going to be throwing that on next, but unfortunately, it is going to be in the next video. So make sure you guys drop a comment. Let me know what you guys think of the build so far. And hit that subscribe button, because you're not going to want to miss out on the epic content that we have coming. Peace.